So without further ado, let's just bring him on in. You guys all right with that?
Yeah, let's
Do
do it.
it.
Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's get some safety tips.
All right, let's get those safety tips. Welcome, Chief Looney of the Wilmington Fire Department. How are you?
Excuse me, doing quite well. Thank you for this opportunity, Ivan, Matt, and Chris. This is a great opportunity. Get the safety message out there to all of our residents. I guess before I get started, I got to give a big shout out to all of my WFD personnel that have
Hmm.
been working
Hmm.
24/7. Uh, you know, in a, during this storm, along with WPD, Public Works, and Parks and Rec, Mayor Carney and his staff. Obviously, we knew the storm was coming, and prior to the storm, there was a lot of planning
Hmm.
put in place, and the planning's being executed,
Hmm.
and we are to the city residents. You're in good hands.
I,
You're in
I,
good hands.
I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, Chief. The crazy thing is we were talking offline, and you just gave a number that blew my mind. How many calls in 24 hours and that you guys went out and helped Delaware on Wilmington residents. Can you just state that number again?
Yeah, we're over 130 incidents. Now, those
Mm.
incidents include a lot of them are medical emergencies, along with, our the fire apparatus has responded to vehicle fires, automatic fire alarms,
Mm,
smoke detector activation. Plus, while our ambulances are responding to these medical emergencies, there's also fire apparatus, an engine that's also responding with them with the severity of that incident for their assistance. We've also staffed up. We have two support utility trucks that are equipped with plows that
nice.
have been out on the streets assisting our ambulances, also assisting our firefighters out on some of the runs, the incidents that they're responding to, automatic fire alarms, et cetera, et cetera. They've been an unbelievable help. Obviously, the roads are what they are. We're trying to limit the amount of cars that are out there. Our ambulance have been stuck, and they need assistance. We've even had to carry, those seeking, medical care. We can't get in front of their house, so we need help
Mhm.
carrying them to the ambulance, and that could be, down the street until we to the corner where the
Mm,
ambulance is located. So, guys and girls from the Wilmington Fire Department, and they've been knocking it out.
love it. Love it.
That's awesome.
Chief, I'm going to step in here because I wanted to go over after that message. I want to go over some just like heating your home safely. We're sort of out of the storm, so to speak, but we still are in these just frigid temps, some in the single digits over the next week. So I just wanted to go through a couple of these, just having you and your expertise on here. Can you talk to us a little bit about space heaters? We always hear about the danger of them, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Could you give our audience just, from an expert, what we should know about these devices?
Right. With the space heaters, first of all, I don't recommend the kerosene heaters that are in. People have them in their homes. I mean, and we encounter that. I mean, they can be very dangerous. You don't want it too close to combustibles, bed linen, your furniture. We all have a lot of people, kind of pile up clothes and the typical stuff that you see in everybody's room, and
Mhm.
they get close to the heaters, which present a problem. Even with the space heaters, space heaters, I mean, they're a great appliance for providing some type of heat. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of the old space heaters out there. They don't have a thermostat on them, so they're not turning off. What I would recommend is, once that room is at a comfortable temperature for those space heaters that do not have that thermostat on, unplug them
Mhm.
for a while, let them
Mhm.
cool down. Okay. But then there's the space heaters that, have the thermostats, you know, make sure whatever appliance you're using, it's not close to furniture, a
Mhm.
good 3 to 5 feet away from those type of combustibles. Don't put it right next to your bed. So your bed linen is in contact with it. And whatever you do, don't be lighting candles. The candles throughout the room, I mean, candles present a danger that I think goes unestimated. The potential for danger with candles that are unattended.
Yeah. Now, Chief, and first of all, Chief, I want to just, on behalf of DETV, thank you for your 32 years that you've been serving residents and people. We really give you a shout out, and shout out to all of the Wilmington Fire Department, people of the Wilmington Fire Department and Wilmington Police. We thank you guys so much. State Police as well in Newcastle County. There are some people, residents in the city of Wilmington, in the state of Delaware, that are up in age, that live in the high rises, and some of them do have older pieces of equipment to keep them warm. Can you give them, and some of them might have kerosene heaters, can you give the people that are have less than some of the people here some tips, something that they can just look out for? Because I heard I believe last year that in the seniors, that's where you guys are getting a lot of calls from, because they're trying to keep warm, or in the summertime, they're trying to keep cool. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yes, Ivan. I've encountered over my career, those that aren't as fortunate to have, a very dependable heating system. A lot of times they've resorted to using their oven as a source, okay, where they turn the oven on and they, open up the oven door. I don't recommend that practice. One, because the oven, it's not designed to be on 24/7. Okay, it's dangerous. Same thing in our high rises. Yes, a lot of space heaters. A lot of times there are a lot of the older models of space heaters, and as I said earlier, they don't have those thermostats on them. You have to be able to, you have to let them cool down, because there's oils in a lot of, in those older ones, there's actually, it's mineral oil. That's what's getting heated. And if you leave those on and don't turn them off, especially if they're older and haven't been maintained, I mean, I've seen fires, we've experienced fires where that oil gets to the point where it's so hot, it does ignite. And especially when you have, and then you have failure of that space heater. So when it fails, now that oil is now ignited, and it's now coming in contact with combustible items.
So I gotta say this before we go to the next question. Coming from the delegation of Black folks, right? Growing up in South Bridge, that was one of the main things that we did back in the day was, hey, open that oven door and turn that heater on. But things have changed now.
I mean, I need to make sure that gets out there, because we see it all the time. And, obviously, we're very empathetic to those individuals that we come across, and we'll do whatever we can to kind of educate them, like, this is not the best practice, maybe we can find you some resources, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and again, and I'm touching on this because my father was in Lincoln Towers too.
Lincoln, yeah, okay.
And so I'm really, like, my heart goes out to the seniors that are in there, because when these seniors are lighting the oven, lighting the stoves, or putting stuff on top of the stoves, they tend to forget, right? And that causes a problem. So any manager that's in a senior high rises and wherever, just knock on the doors and do some checks to make sure. Those checks can go a long way to make sure that if they did have something on that, you guys can be aware. That way we don't have to make a phone call to the Wilmington Fire Department or police to get them out there as well. So I just wanted to get that off, because, we want to make sure that everyone is safe during this time.
That is a very good point, Ivan. And that's what I was going to, also make mention of. We have several high rise for the elderly, WHA, et cetera, et cetera. I would definitely encourage those managers of those facilities to do just that. Maybe, do the daily checks on your occupants, and, you can also incorporate some of your occupants maybe to that they can be the floor captain and checking on each other. I mean, we're in a time right now where we got to look out for each other. Bottom line, that's what
Bottom
we have
line.
to do.
I love it.
Yeah, man. I would argue that we're always in that time, right? Let's lift each other
Correct.
up. Period. So whatever we can do to help one another, let's get after it.
That's right. That's right.
Totally agree.
Hey, Chief, can you touch a little bit about on what's going on with the homelessness? And what I know that some people are over at Matt, and you touched on it yesterday, on the Hicks Community Center, and where else, Matt?
So I believe it was Hicks and the Police Athletic League. I think there is an update this morning that we're going to hear from Mayor Carney about, if one of those is still needed, what the needs are. But definitely welcome your thoughts on that and what has been done and what continues to be done, Chief, as well.
Yes, we have a 10 o'clock, and we have a 10 o'clock briefing with the mayor and his staff and all those that are part of the operations during the storm. And we've had these meetings since Friday afternoon, and our recent meeting last night. Yes, Hicks Anderson has been deemed a shelter, and it's been occupied since Saturday afternoon. I think. I'm not sure on the number yet. Obviously, I'll get updated. Obviously, you're going to get the update before I hear it when Mayor Carney comes on. But I want to say that I think we've done an outstanding job as a city, getting to our unhoused and getting them shelter. As I said, shout out to the mayor's staff, Daniel and Saran and Stephanie. And especially Parks and Rec and PD, 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, they were, relocating everybody at Christina Park over to Hicks Anderson. And they were able to accomplish that in a matter of a couple hours, had that entire park cleared and over into Hicks Anderson where they could be safe. And I do know that, the city has been doing a phenomenal job putting the information out on the webpage, also out on WITN. 311 has a message, and they've done a phenomenal job getting the message out where the shelter is. And there is obviously the shelter at Hicks Anderson and Powell was being activated. That's being managed by the American Red Cross. But and keep in mind, when our guys and girls are out there on the ambulance, they are encountering individuals that are, they're suffering from, obviously the cold weather, and they've taken them to the hospital. Some have asked to go to shelters, but we're not in that position. We must transport you to a medical facility. So we've been, we've obviously transported a fair share of individuals to the nearby hospitals, Wilmington and St. Francis. But like I said, I think we've done a very good job with. I think we
utter the same. We think you guys did well as well. How many firefighters are there in the city of Wilmington?
Well, currently, right now, we have 50 working today. We have 48 out in operations, and then there's 2 battalion chiefs here in headquarters doing various duties.
And I got to ask you this, Chief. Why did you want to be a firefighter? Was that always a dream, growing up?
Absolutely. At a very young age, at 16, I became a volunteer firefighter at Tallyville Fire Company up on Concord Pike, and I got interested through Boy Scouts. And ever since then, once I graduated high school, there was only one job I wanted. I wanted to work for the city of Wilmington and be a firefighter. Now, I didn't get it on my first try. It took me a couple tries. And you want to know something? I couldn't script my career any better. After 32 years, obviously my career is, at some point will be, completed, ending. Right. But, I couldn't ask for anything. I've had more good days than bad days here.
I love it. Hey, Chris, when the weather gets a little warm, bro, we might have to do a ride along to see what it's like to be a firefighter.
Hey, listen, we've got some great segments where we're getting out there on the streets and trying to see Delaware in unique ways, and that would be awesome. Love to do that.
Reach out. We're more than happy.
Now,
I
how far
love
does
it.
that ladder, extend? And could we get all the way on the end of it?
Oh yeah, we can get you on. Yeah, you can get all
Oh
the way
yeah,
out to the
now we're
tip. It's
talking. I love it.
107-foot ladder.
Perfect.
Just
I'm
give me
in.
just give me the 6-foot ladder. I'll be good.
Yeah, I'm in. Listen, Ivan, you can stay down on that 6 foot. I'm
You
going to
want
go
one
all the way up.
Ivan wants the little giant.
That's right.
Yep, that's all I want. Yep,
All right.
I'll beep the horn. But no.
Hey,
Oh
teamwork.
God. All right. So after the fire, we're done. It looks like we're going into some real cold temps for the rest of the week, and they're saying snow again on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Is there any other tips that you want to give the people of the city of Wilmington, Chief?
Yes. One of the biggest dangers right now is driving out on the roads. Stay off the roads. We're in a state of emergency. We're at a level 2 restriction on driving, which means only essential employees should be on the road. And as we said earlier, as the temperatures are not going to get above 25 for the rest of the week.
Mm.
This is the time where neighbors got to help neighbors.
Yeah.
Reach
Yeah.
out to those neighbors. Where the elderly live on your street. Those that can't, get out. Those that can't shovel their own snow or have, some disabilities. Check on them. We got to work together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, we have a lot of residents that, that are elderly. They need assistance. We can't be everywhere. PD can't be everywhere. So this is a great opportunity. Everybody lend a hand, neighbor to neighbor.
That's so dope about that. And I want to give a shout out to my neighbors. My neighbors are great, and that's exactly what we do. So everyone at home, activate that group, that neighborhood text that you got. Check on the neighbors. Check on Miss Jean. Check on Mr. Adams. Take them some soup. Do something. You're only a block away. But the only way we get through this, and I'm gonna say this, and this is nothing. The chief has nothing to do with this. During this political climate, check on your neighbors. During this weather, check on your neighbors. We need, regardless of race, color, sexuality, or anything, we have to be there for one another right now. And especially now that we're back in the homes. And this is like, some people might have that cabin fever from COVID. They might just trigger them back from COVID because that's what it feels like again.
Yeah,
It
they're
does feel that way.
triggering some flashbacks, right?
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. And
This
thank God
one
for
won't
Chris.
last as long, though, so hang in there. This one won't last as long, I promise.
Yeah, I got it. Hey, Chief, and Matt, you got anything else for the Chief?
Ned, just wanted to ask you any sort of last things that you feel like maybe we didn't touch on. One of the things I wanted to ask you a little bit about was hyperthermia, frostbite. We're outside digging ourselves out. How quickly should it set in? What should we be aware of? If you could touch on that before we let you go, that'd be great.
Or, we're all out there shoveling snow. Make sure you layer up before you go out there. And if you're out there too long and you're exposed to this cold weather, some of the initial signs are you're going to have that tingling in your fingertips, your toes. Your skin color is kind of, bluish. There are early onset signs. And then when you get the numbness, that's a concern. You need to get inside, rewarm, and just monitor that. But it's very possible in this weather right now. But I would definitely say layer up. And also I wanted to bring up, you mentioned I know earlier about like CO detectors. CO detectors, yes, they are recommended for every household, especially outside your living areas, on the first floor, in your basement, maybe at the top of your basement steps, about 5 feet away from any type of gas furnace. But they are very important. You should be checking them monthly. Also, if you need, and you're a homeowner, and the city has through our Wilmington Fire Marshal's office, we have a smoke detector CO hotline, and that number is 302-571-4361.
Oh, I
Great
love that. I
information.
love that.
And you can also get more information from our fire marshal's office. Once
awesome.
you leave your name, number, address, and someone will get back to you, one of our inspectors, and they can give you further details.
And that's a number, and I want to make sure that we touch on that too, Chief, while I got you. I know Hank Rose is doing amazing things in the community, keeping people informed. A lot, just like AAA, a lot of people just think AAA just tows cars and unlocks your door, right? So is there any other information? You know, we know like when it comes to the CO2s machine, the fire detectors. Thank you, bro. Yeah, like, is there anything else that people that are live in Delaware or just live outside of Delaware anywhere that can call their fire department and say, "Hey, I need this," or any other services that you guys can, or things that you can give people to make sure that they're safe in their homes?
The Wilmington Fire Department exclusively has its own smoke detector, installation program. Our companies, our engines, our ladder trucks. Once you call that inspection or a smoke detector hotline, they'll set up a date and time, and our guys and girls go out there. They'll install the detectors into that home. Outside of the city, I would contact your local fire company in your community. Some do install smoke detectors. Some will provide that homeowner with smoke detectors. But we have a very aggressive smoke detector installation program. Just in the last 5 years, we've installed over 4,600 smoke detectors in homes in the city of Wilmington. And
that's amazing.
It's a very, that's an important to have them in your home. And we're very proud of, our program that we have in place. And it's been in place for about 5-6 years now.
I love it. I love it. Chief, you got something, Chris? My bad. I didn't mean to cut you.
I was just going to say, Chief Looney, I think you'd be proud of me. I just actually installed a brand new smoke and CO detector in my house just the other day. So I'm current. I'm ready and protected.
Good. Very good. That's what we want to hear.
There you go.
Brand new.
Chris, you've just earned yourself a trip on the fire truck.
That's right. I just want to make sure. I don't want to miss out on my opportunity. I want to be hanging over on that ladder. I'm ready.
I can imagine Chris now just hanging around the truck going down 4th Street and Chris on the.
Don't tease
me. Like
that
Jerry Seinfeld show.
I am all in, man. Don't tease me with a good time. That sounds great.
Hey, Chief, thank you so much for coming on. And Chief, just like if you don't know, anytime you guys get information out to the people in droves, just feel free to let us know and we'll make sure that we make it happen.
Yeah.